Hi everyone, Celeste Mumford here, the creator of the Daily Cleansing Lifestyle. Today we're entering, I believe, week 3 of 15 and 30, which is our 30-day low-carb lifestyle, wherein the goal is to shed or release a minimum of 15 pounds in 30 days by eating low carb, high fat. And today's video, I'm just going to talk about nutrition, fitness, and exercise. And then if you have any questions, you can comment below or send me an email to info@jlexicllc.com. So nutrition, the definition of nutrition is the process of or obtaining food necessary for health and growth. So not all food is nutrition. And that's something that we should consider as we think about what we're going to consume, what we're going to nourish and feed our bodies with. We want to go with something that is nutritious 100% of the time if we can, but most times think about food that is good for health and growing. And growing can be in healthy cells. It can be just in overall well-being. Health, what we eat affects us mentally and physically and emotionally, in mind, soul, and body. So we want to think health and nutrition when we eat. So remember, not all food is nutrition. It might fill us up. It might satisfy us in some kind of way emotionally. It might make us feel good. It might be comfort food, but the goal is nutrition, right? And when we think about nutrition, many of us don't even know that there are five tastes that we should incorporate. Sweet, salty, sour, bitter or tart, and umami. Most of us tend to gravitate towards sweet and salty. That's what we know. We love sweet, we love salty, but sour, bitter, and umami all have a place in nutrition. And so I want us to kind of put aside sugar, definitely, because if we're going low carb, carbs turn into sugar. So we want to minimize and eliminate, if we can, sugar. And sodium is not great. However, salt, a high mineral salt, is good for us. So even the table salt, all the ionized salt, we might want to put that down and pick up a sea salt. We might want to pick up a pink Himalayan salt. There are natural smoke salts. There are so many salts that are nutritious for our bodies that we should use in place of, just regular table salt. So that's something to consider. When we think of sour, we might think of lemons. We might think of things that are tart that we don't particularly like because we're not used to. So we need to change our taste buds. We need to cleanse our palates and change our taste so that we can more so accept sour, bitter. And fermented foods fall in that range of the sour and of the bitter. It's kind of funky. It's a taste that you might have to get used to, or it might have to grow on you, but it is a taste that is necessary. Umami in Japanese is the sense of deliciousness, as in meaty and savory, a deep flavor. Even if you think of mushrooms, those can be umami. If you think of seaweed and other things, a deep flavor. And that might be an acquired taste that we have to get used to. So I encourage us, as we think about nutrition, think about foods that we eat and how our bodies can use them. Is it recognizable by our bodies? First, if our bodies are not going to recognize it as food or nutrition, we ought not have it. I mean, plain and simple. And that's easier said than done, especially if it's something that we really like, that we want. So think about that. And so that's umami. And bone broth might go under umami as well. Bone broth is super nutritious. I've been making bone broth for a couple years now. I make a fresh batch every week. And I drink a big mug full. So bone broth is an excellent source of collagen, where we all need collagen for our bones and for our skin. It helps protect the joints. It helps fight inflammation. Bone broth is vitamin rich. It helps heal the gut. It supports weight loss, and it may help you get a good night's sleep. And there's a difference between bone broth and chicken broth. Chicken broth, just in a matter of how long it's cooked. Chicken broth, you might cook for an hour on the stove. My bone broth, I cook for 2 days, 48 hours. I cook my bone broth on the stove. Now, if you have an Instapot or if you cook it in a crock pot, it might not take as long. But the key to good bone broth is controlling the heat so you get a gel. The bone broth should have a gel. When you scoop it with a spoon, it should be solid. It should be sturdy, not a liquid. And it's that collagen that seeps out of the bones, out of the marrow, that makes it bone broth as opposed to chicken broth. So I encourage everybody that's a meat eater to get chicken feet, chicken necks, get chicken backs. You want the small bones, like chicken feet have the most collagen. And I'm just going to tell you, don't even get it manicured. Keep those nails on it because the nails provide collagen as well. Now, I don't eat chicken feet, but I will make a good bone broth from it. So get some bone broth. Also, fermented vegetables. I'm big on fermentation. I love fermentation. Fermentation is funky. You might have to get used to it, but good fermented vegetables are raw. They contain active live cultures. They contain fermentation. They contain enzymes. They help protect and produce intestinal flora. It increases the gut health and the microbiome. I said that wrong. Microbiome. I don't know how to say that. And digestive system. It enhances the immune system. So a good fermented vegetable does so much good. So if you think you're doing fermentation, whether it's pickles or olives or sauerkraut, kimchi, just fermented vegetables. You can ferment any vegetable. Cauliflower, broccoli, mushrooms, onions, garlic. You can ferment just about everything. So when you do the fermentation and you do the bone broth and you add the other tastes besides sweet and salty, you're actually building upon building upon building of a nutritional profile that your body recognizes, that helps support you in this journey called life and weight loss and, just feeling good and having your clothes fit better. All of those build upon each other, which will give us the results that we're looking for. Right, so that's what that's what I wanted to cover as far as nutrition is concerned. Now, as strange as it sounds, fitness is 80% nutrition, which we just covered, right? And 20% exercise. And you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. So if you're eating a lot of food that is zero nutritional value, if you're eating a lot of carbs, if you're eating a lot of sugar, your workout is really not going to get you to where you want it to be or do for you what you need it to do for you, which is why diets don't work. And if you have a bad diet or a diet that isn't beneficial to your body, and then you just try to work out, you're going to get frustrated because you're getting dressed, you're driving to the gym, or even if it's at home, you're working out. You might be working with a trainer, but you're not seeing the results that you're looking for. It's because nutrition is 80% of the game. 80%. So I told the story numerous times. The first 2 months that I started on my journey with the Daily Clinton lifestyle, I did not exercise at all. And if I did, it was just very minimal in the house. It was during the pandemic. I started, well, no, I didn't. I started January 2020, but I did not exercise. And the great thing about that was I was still getting toned and I was still getting definition, because the food that I was eating was nutritional to my body. My body knew how to use it. My body eliminated it during the 4 a.m. to a noon cycle, which is the elimination cycle. My body was getting rid of what it couldn't use, and it was assimilating or directing the parts of what I was eating that it could use, which resulted in the fat layer covering my muscles minimizing. See, and I was shocked and I was like, how is all of this happening? But because I was doing low carb, high fat, because I was focusing on what I ate, remember, fitness is 80% nutrition. So that's where 80% of our focus should be, on what we eat. I was getting definition, I was getting muscle tone, I was getting slender, I was thinning out, I was getting longer, and it was because of what I was eating. So, and you might see commercials where they talk about cortisol covering your stomach and that fat layer. We all have muscle, but most of our muscle, especially if we're overweight, our muscle is covered by fat. So even if you're working out at the gym, you're not going to see muscle tone because you're not eliminating that fat. And if you do start seeing muscle tone, you're going to bulk up because that muscle underneath the fat is going to build, but the fat layer is still there. So you're still going to be heavier. And if you notice, you might see some people, because we see lots of fitness people on Facebook and Instagram, some people are long and lean, even though they're muscular. And then you see people with big, thick thighs and butts, and even though their waist is small, but you don't see them with a lot of definition. And even though their bodies are fit and toned, and I'm sure they can squash me like a bug because they're so fit and strong, but they're bigger because that fat layer has not diminished at all. So when you think about diet and exercise, when you think about your goals, food, nutrition, eating for your terrain should be at the top of the list. You should focus on that before you even exercise. Like I said, I didn't exercise for the first 2 months, and I saw definition and muscle tone showing up. My arms are now half the size as they were in 2019. I mean, half the size, if not a little less than half the size. And it's really because of the way I eat. So now I exercise. I mostly walk. I do wear my mostly my 6-pound weighted vest. I wear 2-pound wrist weights and 2-pound ankle weights. And I do work out somewhat, but 90% of what I do is walking, and I'm seeing results. So eat for your terrain, eat food that is recognizable by your body, that your body can use. Add bone broth, add fermentation, add all of the taste buds, not just sweet and salty. Add sour, add bitter, add umami. And rest. We need to get rest. So I'm encouraging you to stay within that noon to 8 building window. Building is what I call eating because it's a mind thing. So when I say I'm building, that means I'm working with my body to get good results. So build from noon to 8 p.m. Now, in the third week, if you look at the meal planning, I want you to cut back 1 hour. So I think it says from 12:30 to 7:30. So the goal is to eat well, low carb, high fat, eat until you're full. Fat keeps you full longer. Fat diminishes the cravings for carbs and for sugar. So eat that, and the goal is to kind of shorten your window. Some people do 16 and 8, where you're resting for 16 hours and you're eating for 8. Some people do 18 and 6, meaning you're resting or fasting for 18 hours and you're eating for 6 hours. My sweet spot is 20 to 4, meaning I'm fasting for 20 hours and I'm eating for 4. Now, I'm not putting my body in starvation mode, because when I eat a lot. And if you follow me on Facebook at The Daily Cleansing Lifestyle, you see I post food I eat. I might break fast even if I break fast at noon, I'm having my breakfast berry sundae, which is loaded with whipped cream, and it has yogurt, and it has berries, and it has raw cocoa nibs. It has nuts on it. Then I'll follow it with butter coffee, which has my cultured butter, 2 tablespoons, plus at least 2 tablespoons of MCT oil, vanilla extract. It has cinnamon. Sometimes I even put raw cacao in it. And with that, sometimes I do put a teaspoon of raw honey. But then after that, I'm having a chaffle. I'm having 2 eggs with cheese. I'm having bacon. I'm having a half of avocado. I'm having sauerkraut. And I eat all of that within an hour. So picture that type of food 2 or 3 times a day when I eat. I don't count calories. I don't eat diet food. I don't eat low-fat food. I eat low-carb. There's a difference. So that's really all that I had. Let me just see if there's anything else. So nutrition, fitness, and exercise. Really, I want you to think about yourself. You are so worth the best. You are so worth being your ideal weight. You're so worth putting aside, laying down those things that are not profitable to you, not profitable to your nutrition, not profitable to being able to bend over and tie your shoe without feeling like your stomach's getting cut in half. That was me. If diabetes, prediabetes, can be reversed through diet and exercise, and if you choose not to get rid of the things that are causing you diabetes, then that means you want diabetes. I mean, you might say you don't want it, but you want it because you're not changing your behavior around it. You're feeding dis-ease. And like we talked about on last week's call, we're adults. In this 15 and 30 is all women. We're all over 18. We all have families, whether they be husbands or children. Some of us live alone. So we really cannot blame anyone for what we're putting in our mouths and what we're accepting but ourselves. Because typically we control the food. We go grocery shopping. We prepare the meals. We set plates in front of our husbands and in front of our children. And we decide pretty much how our family eats. So we can't blame other people for the way we're choosing to eat. And I mean, that's the cold, hard fact, right? So I want you to choose you this week. I want you to, if you're not ready to shorten the building window an hour or half an hour on each end, eat or build between noon and 8 p.m. Before noon, have black coffee, have naked green or black tea. When I say naked, it means no artificial teas, no flavorings, no sugars or anything. If you can do that, do that. Drink water, warm water, at least 16 ounces of warm water upon waking, which is funny because I did tempered water, like just room temperature, but now I can pretty much drink 16 ounces of hot water. I mean, not boiling hot, but from my filter, hot water I can drink. So everything can work in increments. You might not get all of it in one day, but do the best you can every time you have an opportunity. So warm water upon rising. Do water till noon if you can. If you can't, if you feel as though you need something because you're going out to work and you're doing other things, black coffee, naked green or black tea, No additives, no artificial flavorings, no sugars or anything. Eat until you're satisfied. Don't limit or judge what you're going to eat. Low fat, high carb. Don't think breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you want steak and eggs, eat steak and eggs. If you're a vegan and if you want vegetables, put olive oil on your food. Eat an avocado a day. Get nuts. If you're a fish eater, get fatty fish, salmon and cod. If you're a meat eater, get meat, get steak. Really the only processed meat I eat for the most part is bacon. But I'm buying better cuts of meat. I'm buying pasture-raised meat. Get pasture-raised eggs. Keep boiled eggs in your refrigerator. Get some sauerkraut or pickles or olives, not off the shelf. Get them from the refrigerated aisle. Get some kefir, but look for it without extra sugar or fruit in it. There's plenty of raw kombucha. JT Kombucha makes a live probiotic because he adds extra probiotics in it. Get some, change your taste buds. Be creative. Find different foods. Look at ingredients. And really, don't be afraid of fat. Fat does not make you fat. Trust me. I've lost over 50 pounds eating fat. So fat does not make you fat, but you want the best food that you can possibly buy. Good food is important. I think that is it. So I'm going to post this for people who were not able to get on the call so that you can still have content. I invite you to invite others to join us at the Daily Cleansing Lifestyle on Facebook. And if you know anyone who might be interested in doing 15 and 30 or Jumpstart or 7-day cleanse or fasting, connect them with me and I will see what I can do to help them. And I think that's it. I appreciate you choosing me and the Daily Cleansing Lifestyle to take this journey with. I'm here for you. We are a community. We're rooting for you in this 15 and 30. And really the choice is yours. Success is yours. But we just have to crucify our flesh. We have to start telling ourselves no. We can still celebrate around food, but it's going to be different food. It's going to be food that gives us life and health and strength and vitality. Not just weight loss, but give us good energy and focus and helps our skin. And, food can do so much from the inside out. And I just want to help you do that. And if you have not done so already, set up and register your one-on-one coaching call so we can take care of that. And if you have any questions, email me at info@jlexillc.com. Thank you for watching. Enjoy today and eat nutritious food for your terrain. Shalom.